Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. And girl, I know I've been away, child. It kind of felt good not filming actually. Not that anyone cares, but anyways, I was gonna do like a life update kind of a thing, but then basically what happened was my April month was shit. February, March. April was shit. And yeah, May was just another month. So now that it's June, I'm trying to, piggyback of where I just left off. So I'm just gonna do like a little story time / get ready with me kind of a thing. And this dot, that's like from my nose ring. It looks so ugly, but whatever. I decided to get rid of that nose ring, girl. Okay, before we get into the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Sometimes I be getting like a lot of views and it doesn't match with the subscribers. So stop hating, stop being a Karen, and subscribe. So guys, yesterday I actually did film a story time, but it's not gonna be that story time I was filming yesterday because I just completely lost interest in filming it. As I was filming, I kept on getting messages and phone calls, so I was just like not lost interest over it, not doing it again. Yeah, so I know I kind of posted my little rant session on Instagram because I kind of lost my temper a bit, but now I'm back and I want to tell y'all about the story. So I don't know, what am I gonna even name it? Should I say he was married? But technically he wasn't. And leave my mirror. I know it's fucked up and it's broken. I've had it since I was in high school. I forgot to prime. Ugh, but it's fine. Anyways, before we get into this video now, let me give this guy a name. We'll call him Diaper. We'll call him Diaper because he acted like a baby. And the reason why I'm saying he acted like a baby is because he couldn't get his shit straight. Like, what the fuck was his problem? And it fucking irritated me. And like, what prompted me to make this story time is because like, I blocked this guy everywhere, and yesterday, out of no fucking where, he messaged me on a different number on WhatsApp. So I was just like, oh yeah, kind of there's you. So I'll just get straight into the video. So I was on my way to work every morning, as I usually do. Well, not every morning, but this one fateful morning I was on my way to work and I was walking. So I used to walk to work all the time until I was like fed up of walking to work, and now I just Bolt or Uber to work, right? So on this day I was walking to work. This is like around 7 in the morning. No, not 7, like past 8 or something like that, né? Okay, sharp. I'm walking to work, and then I passed this gas station, right? And next to the gas station there is, if you live in Poch, you know where Nando's is, right? Near the mall. So I was like walking there, that side. Sharp, I'm passing. I'm minding my business, because now the thing is, every time I used to walk to work, I'd have like random guys coming to me and like, shadowing me and stuff like that, and I'd get annoyed. So I usually put my earphones in, even though there's nothing playing. I just walk with an attitude, and when someone greets me, boom. So there's a guy in the GTI, and he's like greeting, he's like hooting and greeting, like hello, hello. I can hear him, but I just wasn't turning around because I was like, no, fuck you, I'm late for work. And that day I was actually late for work. So this guy follows me. Now he was pouring petrol. So when he was done pouring petrol, he followed me and he starts hooting and hooting and hooting and hooting. So eventually I turn around because I'm like, who the fuck is this? So I turn around and it's this guy. It's Diaper. So it's Diaper. So Diaper comes around and he's like, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you. Can I please have like just 2 minutes of your time? You're a really beautiful young lady. I just want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I'm late for work. And he was like, no, you can get in the car and I'll take you to work. Where do you work? Oh, yeah. He's like, nah, get in my car, I'll take you to work. Where do you work? So I'm like, I work at the mall. And he's like, no, it's fine, get in the car, I'll take you to work. So I'm just looking at him and I'm just like, okay, he wasn't bad. I wouldn't, like, he wasn't bad looking. Like, he was decent looking. He wasn't bad. He was dressed formally because he was also on his way to work, right? He's sharp. The guy is like, no, get in the car, I'll take you to work. I get in the car and then he's like, where should I go in? So I'm like, no, rather go to the underground parking because it's closer to my work, and at least when I'm there I can just walk real quick up to, like, I can just get I can get onto the escalator and just get to work. He's like, okay, cool, we go, we drive. So as we're in the car, he's like, oh, you're really pretty, what's your name? I'm like, my name's Rutabile, and yours? He's like, oh, I'm Diaper. Right? He's like, oh, I'm Diaper. I'm like, okay, Diaper, so where you going? And he's like, I'm heading to work. So I asked him, he asked me, like, so what is your job? What are you doing for a living? And at that time I was still in college, so I was like, no, I'm a barista, I'm a coffee barista, you know, but it's just like a part-time job so I can get money, so I can, you know, enjoy life, because I'm still in college, I don't have the funds. So he's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, so I asked him, I'm like, so what do you do for a living? And he's like, oh, he was a something engineer. He was a something engineer. I can't remember, but he was an engineer of some sort, right? I'm like, oh, that's nice. I tell him, I'm like, you've got brains. He's like, I think he's a mechanical engineer, not mechanical engineer, but he was an main point, bottom line, he was an engineer. All right, cool. So I'm like, oh, you've got brains. I'm like teasing him. I'm like, oh, you've got a brain and blah, blah, blah. Right? And he's like, okay, cool. So can I get your number? We get to the mall now. And then he's like, well, can I get your number? Maybe we can meet up later on for like lunch or dinner or whatever. And I'm looking at this nigga and I'm like, the fuck? But obviously I was kind of like, I kind of had that thing because I've always wanted to have like an interaction like that, you know, like you see in the movies, you know. So I've always wanted to have like some sort of interaction like that. So I was like, no, I'm gonna be at work. And then he's like, okay, then I usually pass through Porch in the morning. No, I asked him like, where do you live? And he's like, he lives in Joburg. And I'm like, damn, you live so fucking far. But I get it, I come from Joburg. I'm a Joburg girl, so Porch is just boring for me at this point. So I'm like to him, oh, you come from Joburg, where in Joburg do you live? And he's like, oh, I live in Reinsig. And I'm like, okay, that's actually, it's a nice area. And he's like, yeah, it is, would be nicer with you. I'm like, too soon, too motherfucking soon. But anyway, cool, we speak a little before I go in, and then cool, we speak a little before I head into the mall to get to work, right? And then I gave him my number, he gave me my number, and before I get into the mall, he's like, wait, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, are you married? I'm like, no, I'm not married. He's like, do you have any kids? I'm like, no, I don't have any kids, none whatsoever. And he's like, okay, cool. And I'm like, do you have kids? He's like, no, I don't have kids at all. Mind you, listen to this because this is very important later on in the story. He says that he doesn't have any kids, and I'm like, okay, so are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? He's like, no, I have none. It's just me, I'm a bachelor. I'm like, okay, cool. He eventually goes to work, I go to work, shop. And then later on that day, I was working a half day, I remember. So later on that day, after I knocked off, and then he called me, right? And he's like, hey, do you care to have some lunch with me, or are you still busy or something? And I'm like, you know what, I'd like lunch. And mind you, I only said yes to lunch with him because I was low-key hungry and I was not finna spend my own money on food, and I wanted something like really nice. So let me just do my eyebrows and I'm gonna get back. So I was like, yeah, we can go out for lunch. I already knocked off, and he was like, okay, cool, where can we go? So I was like, I don't really know. At that time I hadn't really gone to many places in Potch. Like, I had been in Potch for a bit, but I hadn't really gone out like that, because I didn't really have, I had friends, but I didn't have friends that went out to restaurants, so I didn't know restaurants. So eventually, after contemplating, he decides that we should go to Beef Boys. Y'all know Beef Boys. If you're from Potch, you know where Beef Boys is. So we go to Beef Boys. And was it Beef Boys? Yeah, we went to Beef Boys there. Okay, we get there. We order a couple of drinks. We order food. We're chilling. We're talking, getting to know each other a little bit more. That's what the dating game consists of. That's how you start dating people. You get to know them, right? Okay, cool. We're talking. He's telling me about his job. He works for Sasol, and he calls the shots with the fuel and the oil. And yeah, like what this guy was a big shot, y'all. He was a big shot. Like, he had money, and he was showing me his house. He's building a house. He bought land, and this and this and this and this. And I was just like, damn. Okay, like, I wasn't like that I wasn't attracted to him because he was not my type. He was far from my type, in fact. So yeah, he's talking to me about these things. I'm telling him more about myself. I'm telling him that I'm a photographer, makeup artist, I do this and this and this, just telling him. Like, he's asking me, okay, so how are you single? Told him about the reason I'm single is because of such and such and such, right? We're talking, we're like, this is us interacting and seriously getting to know each other on that level, but not that level, but you get what I mean. Okay, cool. Eventually we're done, and then he's like, I tell him, look, I gotta go home now. Like, I'm tired. I just want to go home. When really I just wanted to go home so I can call my friend and be like, bitch, come to my place. I got shit to tell you. I met somebody. I'm eating, and he takes me home, right? Takes me home, and he's like, yo, I can't wait to see you again. It was such a nice lunch, blah 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 blah. And so cool. We end up like talking and discussing. Okay, next time when you come, then just let me know, and we're gonna hang out and blah 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 blah. It was still a bit hot around this time. It was still a bit like warm outside. And okay, cool. So then, the following, I think it was the following day. Was it the following day? I don't even know if it was the following day. But I think whatever day it was, he came around and he was on his way to work. So he decided to leave the house a little bit earlier so that he can get here a little bit earlier before I go to work. Right, which is actually really sweet, and it kind of got me a bit. I was like, oh, you literally got up out of your sleep, my nigga, just to catch me before I go to work and take me out for breakfast. Guys, I was like, I felt so special. I was like, oh my god, there are men out here who do this kind of stuff. Come on, you don't tell me you wouldn't feel the same way that I was feeling. So anyways, cool. We go to, what is that restaurant? There's a restaurant near the mall. Willow something. It's near the mall. Just across the mall, there's like this restaurant. Willow, I don't know what to call it. It's Willow something, guys. But anyway, we go to that restaurant for breakfast, right? Let me just get rid of the residue. Yeah, we go to that restaurant for breakfast. We're chilling there, we ordering coffee, and he's been a man, daughter. Like, he's like asking me like, what is it that you'd like to drink? When the waitress comes, he let me order first, and which is like a really manly move, the waitress came, he let me order my food first, and then he ordered his, and he kept on asking, like, you know, are you fine, is anything that you need, blah blah blah. I was like damn, like I've had that kind of treatment before, but with the ex that I had, he was like a narcissist, which is a story time for another day. Like, I don't know if I even want to tell that story time, but like, yo, he was a narcissist for days, and he was kind of like abusive in a way, like verbally abusive. But yeah, so anyways, homeboy and I are chilling, Diaper and I are chilling, we get our food, you know, he's discussing to me, like, you know, he still takes care of his parents, he's got siblings, blah 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 blah, like, you know, and everything he's saying is just like too perfect. I'm like, wow, like this guy, he's a family man, and like, what woman doesn't want to be with a family man kind of guy? You check? Cool, we're out here, we talking. Eventually we finish our food, and as we finish our food, he's asking me like, do you want dessert? And this is like, I think it's like 8:30, and I was like, you know what, I don't mind being at least like 30 minutes late for work, because I was supposed to be at work by 8:30, but I was like, you know what, I'll get in at work by 9. It's not a train smash, I work alone. Most of the time I'm always working alone, so I was like, it's not gonna be a train smash. So we get dessert. I think I got waffles. Yeah, I think I got waffles and ice cream for dessert. Okay, cool. We eat. As we're eating dessert, he's asking me like, so what do your expenses look like? And I'm like, oh, my expenses, mind you, child, I'm just a college student. I don't even have kids of my own. I still live with my mom, and the only expenses I have is paying my clothing accounts and going out with my friends and paying my Wi-Fi, contributing to electricity, funeral cover, and groceries at the end of the month, like when I have money, right? So I tell him like, oh, my expenses usually look like, you know, blah say blah. I can't remember what number I came up with, but it was like just a number that fell out of my head, and I was just like, no, because with this extra money, my bitches and I are going out, we're gonna have fun, right? Oh, there's a pimple. Okay, cool. Tell me why I'm chilling with homeboy, and as I'm telling him about my expenses, he's just like, and he's like, oh, what bank do you use? I'm like, oh, I use Capital. We chilling. As I'm talking, he's on his phone. So while he's on his phone, I'm just thinking like, ugh, this rude ass motherfucker. Like, I'm talking to you about something, you're on your phone, you're just sitting there like, rude. So anyways, as he's doing that shit, I'm just looking, I stopped talking, and I start looking at him. I'm like, And he's like, oh, no, continue. I'm so sorry, continue. No, please don't mind me. I'm not being rude. So as I'm busy going on, and he's looking at his phone, then my phone starts going ding, ding, ding. And I'm like, saying, what's up? So I hop onto my phone real quick. Tell me why is bank notifications of a payment. And go specify how much this man sent me. But Diaper sent me like a sum of money. And I was like, yeah, he sent me a sum of money, right? And I was just like, what in the fuckity fuck is this? I've received money, you know, from the ex I was dating. Like, he used to just spoil me and all that shit, but randomly from a guy that I do not know, without him asking me for things in return. I was shook. I was honestly shook. I just couldn't believe it, hey? But anyways, I had to believe it because it did happen anyway. So yeah, that shit goes down. And then he's like, oh, maybe I should take you to work now. He's like, are you full? Do you still want to get anything else? And I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm cool, thanks. And he's like, okay, cool, let me take you to work. He takes me to work, right? He walks me to, like, we get to the parking lot, the underground parking, and he literally walks me to my job. And I was just like, okay. And people at the mall are like looking, and I'm like, I still have this rule where I don't want people where I work to know who I'm with. But yeah, anyways, Yeah, okay, anyways, he came, he walked me to work. He was like, oh, so this is where you work? I'm like, yeah, this is where I work. And he's like, okay, but like a beautiful lady like you working here. And I've heard it a couple of times, but I'm just like, at this point I'm just like, ugh, I'm used to hearing it, but whatever. Yeah, cool. We're talking a little bit before I head in and start like actually doing my fucking job now, because like he was just standing there talking and in my mind I was like, oh, don't you have a job to go to? But let me not be rude, you just like help me pay my bills. You just help me pay my bills. Now I can go and buy shit at the Fix, because the Fix is fucking expensive, bitch. Okay, in case you don't know, the Fix is expensive. So okay, cool. So so we like he goes to work and I do my job as I should, because unfortunately in this life we have to work to get what we want. So during the day he's texting me, we're texting back and forth, and he's like asking like, you know, how's your day going? Are you having fun? You know, did you eat? Should I send you money for food? And in my mind I'm like, brother, like what? You know, I've been spoiled in my life. I've had men spoil me, but this level of being spoiled, I was like, okay, brother. So anyways, cool. Fast forward, he sends me, at this point he already knows where I live. So some other time, I can't remember what was happening or what day it was, but then he just asked me, I was at home, I wasn't at work that day, it was during the week. So he asked me like, yo, please send me your address. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll send you my address. So I sent him my address. I wasn't thinking anything of it, and I think I still have that fucking video. So I sent him my address because I'm not thinking anything of it, and he's like, please just go and wait outside 15 minutes from now, exactly 15 minutes from now. Please just go and wait outside, there's something that's coming for you. I'm like, something like what? Cool. He sends me a message saying, okay, you can go outside. And I was like, go outside? I'm getting phone calls from a weird number. It's like, go outside. And as I go outside, there's like a beautiful car. The car was not the gift. What was in the car was the gift. I wish the car was the gift. But anyways, right, I go outside and there's a woman there, and she's like, hello, are you the Tabile? I'm like, yes, I'm the Tabile. And she's like, wow, I don't know who it is that you are with, but this man loves you, girl. And I'm like, we ain't dating yet, but I'm going with the flow, you know, I'm going with the flow. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, thank you so much. And she's like, yeah, these are for you. It's like this huge bouquet of flowers, and there's like chocolates, and there was also, I think there was also wine that came with it, like my favorite wine that came with it. And I was like, bitch, this is the shit that you see in movies, like randomly just getting a call saying come outside, and you get outside and it's a bouquet of flowers. Girl, claps for him. Diaper had it right that time. So I call him and I'm just like, I video call him and I'm just like, what? These are like cute. I'm holding the bouquet, it's so heavy, I can't even keep it up because I'm like, this is so cute, thank you so much. And he's like, ah, babe, don't worry about it, you know, anything for you. And I'm like, anything for me? I want to see you. And he's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna come this weekend, I'm gonna come and see you because, you know, I miss you, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cool. So the weekend comes, Diaper books himself into, no, before that he came to see me again, and then we went for dinner at but was thing at Beef Boys again, right? We go to, no, he wanted to eat at Fine Things, but then I was like, no, you're a grown-ass man, there's a lot of students at Fine Things and I'm not trying to be spotted, like I ain't trying to be spotted. So we go to Fine Things, right? Get to, not Fine Things, Beef Boys. Get to Beef Boys, we chilling there, we drinking, you know, we're talking, we're like, you know, he's laying it down, he's telling me how he feels about me, and that, you know, he sees a future with me, I'm the kind of girl, you know, I make him laugh, I'm funny as fuck, blah 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 blah, you know, stating my qualities. And I'm like, as you should, because you know my qualities, you know I'm that girl, because I know I'm that girl. So anyways, fast forward, we're talking. We end up having a few more drinks, couple of drinks. Oh yes, that was the time when he booked himself into the hotel here. I'm not gonna be specific about hotel, but he booked himself into a hotel here. And that night we had dinner and we're drinking, and then we go back to his hotel room, and he bought the vanilla amarula for me because I like that amarula. He bought that vanilla amarula for me, and you know, we chilled there, we enjoyed. I also brought some weed because he had never smoked weed in his life, so I was like, you know what, you are gonna smoke some weed. Brought weed, we smoked up, we had fun, we were talking, we were laughing. And then eventually he got emotional and he started crying, and he was telling me about how much he loves me and how much he doesn't know how he loves me in such a short period of time, because we've barely known each other. And I'm just like, well shit man, I've got that effect. I've heard this so many times. So anyways, we're talking, not to be cocky, but yeah, anyways, we're talking, we're going on about it. And then we kissed. So we're kissing. This is like outside by the pool. We're kissing. Our legs are in the pool, romantic shit. We're drinking and we're high as fuck, and he's making me laugh my brains out because his reaction to the weed was funny as fuck. So anyways, that happens, and then I go home. Now this is like afterwards, the following day, he came to fetch me and my friend, and we go and buy chicken licken because I was so drunk. So he was like, you know what, like, just to cure your babalas, let me go and just get you some hot wings. We go to chicken licken, he gets me hot wings, and he gets my friend hot wings too, and then we buy some Savannahs. It's like 2 motherfucking days later, bitch. I am sleeping. I don't have school, I don't have work. I am sleeping and dreaming so nicely in my fucking bed. Tell me why I get a phone call from an unknown number, and this number is blowing up my phone. So I'm getting like irritated and frustrated, and I'm like, you know what, I'm sleeping. Who is this rude person? So I answer the call, and it's a woman, and she's like, hi, am I speaking to Tabile? And I'm like, yes, this is she. And she's like,
please tell me, how do you know diaper?
I'm like, excuse me? She's like, how do you know diaper? I'm like, because he approached me when I was on my way to work, and he's like come to see me a couple of times. And she's like, well, where do you live? And I'm like, I live in Porch. And she's like,
well, how did you guys meet if you live in Port and he lives in Joburg? Make it make sense.
I tell her like, no, look here, your man or whoever he is was on his way to work as I was on my way to work, and he approached me and asked for my number, and I gave it to him, and we've been talking ever since. She's like, so did he send you the bouquet of flowers? I'm like, yeah, he sent me a bouquet of flowers. And she's like, why? Bitch, what do you mean why? Why did he send me a bouquet of flowers? Did I die? No, sorry, I did not die. So she's like,
how did you why did he send you this large bouquet of flowers?
And I'm like, I don't know, he just sent it to me. Like, honestly, he was just like, yo, go outside, there's flowers for you. I went outside, there was a bouquet of flowers, and yeah. And she's like, okay, do you know who's speaking? I'm like, no. And I'm curious, who's speaking? She's like,
his wife.
I was like, oh.
She was like, yeah, it's his wife.
I'm like, nice to meet you, ma'am. I did not know what the fuck to say. I was like, nice to meet you, ma'am. And she was like, nice to meet you too. She's like,
thank you for being honest. I don't mean to wake you up this early in the morning. I know you're probably tired, but did anything else happen between you and Diaper?
I'm like, honestly speaking, no. We just ended there. Yeah. She's like, so nothing else happened? I'm like, honestly speaking, telling you the truth, nothing. And I was like being dead honest, because what the fuck, bruh? basically all this time this motherfucker has been married. And remember that he asked me in the beginning, like, he was like,
yo, are you married? Do you have any kids and whatnot? And I said
no, because I was like being truthfully honest, as I should be. And he said that he also didn't have any kids and that he wasn't married, but he was. Oh my god. I was like, shit, bruh, this nigga. I told my friends about it. My friends knew about it. I was like, damn, bitch, like, I was dead as cornered. I told my friends, I was like, girl, I was cornered like early in the fucking morning. And they're like, what happened? I told them what happened. I was like, bitch, remember the guy who sent me bouquets of flowers and that I was flexing with flowers? He's married. Just have a thing. I was like, did I just have a thing with a married man? A whole married man. I was so embarrassed with myself. I was just like, shit, Brie, ew. But anyways, it was not my fault. I was not aware of it. He lied. Technically, he told me that you know, he's not married, this and this and this. And I was like, stupidly so, I believed him. Anyways, we all make mistakes. So that's what happened. And then suddenly, because I saved the number as DNA, do not answer, and this DNA kept on viewing my statuses the entire day, and I wanted to see what was gonna happen, so I kept on posting shit because I wanted her to see me. She saw my profile picture, and I remember on the phone call she did ask me if I'm a model or something, and I was like, yeah, I'm a model. I'm not, but anyway, I was like, yeah, I'm a model myself. But anyways, that's the shit that happened. Yeah, guys, that's the story of how I almost dated a married man. I had a thing with him, which is sad. Oh yeah, and then like later on that day, he came to my school. He came to my campus and he was like, yo, I'm outside, can I please talk to you? And that day was like raining, it was pouring as fuck. I went to see him outside, and then he started explaining to me that the marriage is like this, the marriage is like that, and that there's no king. He said so many things. He said that, you know, they don't have a good marriage. Not to mention that this man started telling me about their sex life, that they don't have sex and he has to masturbate like all the fucking time. Ew. She's not present. Everything's about her job and her career. She doesn't take care of the kids. I was like, there are kids? Didn't he just say earlier that he didn't have any kids and he wasn't married? So this motherfucker's just a pure pathological liar to get shit that he wants. So yeah, that's what happened. And then eventually, while we were in his car and he was telling me everything, and then he got a call from his uncle, and he put it on speaker, and the uncle was saying,
listen here, my son, tonight we're coming to your house, we're having a meeting, your wife called us for the meeting.
I was like, nigga, you's in trouble. You've
got some explaining to do.
But anyway, yeah, that happened. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning into my video, even though I've been gone for so long. Whoever's watching, thank you so much, girl. Thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your post notifications so that you can be up to date every time I post a new video, child. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.